Tinanggap ng kinatawan ng South Korea ang paghingi ng paumanhin ni Pangulong Duterte kaugnay sa pagkamatay ng kanilang kababayan na si Ji Ik-ju. Gayunman, hindi raw inaasahan ni South Korean Ambassador to the Philippines, Kim Jae-shin, ang sinabi ni Duterte na ipadadala pa sa South Korea ang ulo ng mga nasa likod ng krimen. Nangako ang Pangulo na bibigyan ng hustisya ang mga naulila ni Ji at patanagutin ang mga sangkot sa krimen. Sabi ni Kim, maraming Koreano na ang natatakot pumunta sa Pilipinas dahil sa nangyari kay Ji. Nangangamba rin ang iba para sa kanilang seguridad. Nagkita sina Ambassador Kim at si Pangulong Duterte sa pagpapasinayan ng Sarangani Energy Corporation kahapon.
I apologize for the death of your compatriot. We are very sorry that it had to happen. But I can assure you, those responsible are known to us already. And they will have to go to prison. And I will see to it that they are sentenced to the maximum.
He's really apologized. His apology also. The Korean people are very, very upset. Yeah, and we are embarrassed. Such a heinous crime was committed. Yes, so that's why I asked the president to investigate thoroughly, and the president also promised to do that. And those who are involved in these crimes should be brought to justice.
But the problem is there's no alternative in the price, money. And there have been a lot of inventions about solar and everything. But other people, and especially pretentious experts, they do not have a good alternative, cheap, affordable fuel to power the power plants, because it could not see so many billions needing energy. Mindanao has suffered economically several times in the last decade. And always it results in economic reduction. Income, reduced GDP. GDP is just income of the government and the people. So we are now trying to figure out how to balance it. We would like to have a clean planet, but that would be nigh impossible really to insist on it, because civilization needs to have light. So you strike a happy balance. But for as long as the most viable fuel is called and cheapest, so that the power can also be delivered energy to the people at a much lower price, then we'll have no other alternative except to upgrade the technology to its fullest, to limit anything that starts. Whatever machine will always have a pollution. Pati ang tao may sariling contamination rin sa kanya. So, kami yung nasa gobyerno, we have this, the power to limit and the power to increase. At this time, whoever is the president of the Philippines would always contend with coal. There's so much gold still that can be utilized by civilization for the next 50 to 70 years. And to be worrying about pollution, well, we just have to come to terms with it. That in our time, in our generation, it is really what it is. There's nothing we can do about it. Now, on the other side is desire to have clean energy. You know, as a lawyer, I did not sign. Pagkaalam na kasi itong gago, wala akong naintindihan. But as a lawyer, I try to read something before I sign. Yung climate change, the first to withdraw was Trump. I cannot tell you what was his reason to do so. But mine was just anchored on two things. First, there's a 5 billion fund. The agreement does not state who gives it. It says that the highest energy countries may do it. But there is no compulsion. Second is, if there is a violation, it leaves at that. There is no sanction at all. Now, pag-usapan na lang, let's go to the reality of the world. We, the small ones, we sign it. The big ones in the highly industrialized sign it. Europe is very interested. But they don't have any problem. They're well advanced already. They were the first to contaminate the world. Until now, China, United States. Ilan lang tayo? We are pegged at about 0.4. Our national laws even exact as a more. It's about 73 reduction. But it cannot be materialized at any time. We still have to contend with population, the need to industrialization. And these are the things that the catch there is, if there is a violation, although the consequences is not spelled out in that agreement, if you read it carefully, but there is no sanction. If the big ones decide to violate, because there is a mad scramble for economic power, China and America looms big ahead, and they violate, can we stop them? Can we tell them, look, it is in the treaty. But what's the consequence? If I say, oh, yeah, it's wrong. So, what do you propose to do? Pero kung tayong maliit, we the small ones, we who do not have yet the power to impose our will on the other, we'll just have to follow. Because even if it is not provided there, if the big ones decides to impose sanctions, they can go out of the paper. They can, you do not want to obey, oh, we start with restrictions in exportation. We start with so many things outside of the ambit of energy. We start you with the cutting of grants. And that is what other countries are doing. That's why I bullshitted them because of that behavior. Every time that they wanted to criticize me, they would just say, you better, honor the convention, and we will arrive or we will bring you to the International Criminal Court. On that I read the provisions of the international. They are not even members of the convention. So this life is never fair. But I would never allow my country to go beyond the things that what they are doing, to suffer. Whatever it is, how poor we are, we would like investments to come. But if you do that at the expense of our dignity, some of it you go out. And that is the reason why I said, I was forced to, nobody knew, you would ask anybody before who is now the president of the Philippines, would bother to know you. But I was forced to go public and say, stupid, you idiots. You better behave. Just because you were ahead in the industrial age, it does not mean that you just can't kick us around. And I would like to make it clear, That were two things that I was really objecting. Who foots the bill? 50, $100 billion, $5 billion? Sino nagbabayad? The big ones? Hindi ka nabayaran yun nila mga Diyos nila sa UN. Took them several years to update their accounts with the United Nations. And you come here and go around soliciting signatures for... The second is that you read the treaty. It does not provide any damage for the consequences of the climate change. The treaty provides for assistance to upgrade your technology to combat climate change. But you make it to believe, nung una, pati our lawmakers, so yan, kasi kung if there's a typhoon, there's a catastrophe arising from the weather, climate, then you can go for help. It ain't so. It is not worried that way. It can only grant you many things if you have to improve your technology to improve the climate. Then, how much is for what? It states none. There's a general statement that the industrial countries might raise the money. So yung mga just because it's the treaty written in Paris, just because it is written by foreign doesn't mean that they are brighter than us or they're more stupid than us. You know, it's a time. So we allow coal to come in because that is the cheapest and we're not that rich. So people would always cry about the prices, electricity. And then you have a board here. I don't know if the son of a bitches are really still there because I fired all of them. How can you, an energy board that fixes the price of what you should pay to the energy sector, are all there corrupt? That's connected with energy. And they are still there. What? Still there. But I will transfer your office to Basilan. So you guys in government, I promise that I am not trying to appear as immaculate or clean. I have my faults in life, plenty. But sadly, corruption of money is not part of my illegal women and but the problem is sadly all of the men in front of me are also guilty of it. If you could find one or two, then that is a miracle. So I would like to again to say, my cabinet is clean. At I'd like to address to the Filipinos. The only way for you to help me stop corruption is to be assertive. Anybody from government starts even just a whiff at malaman ko, no second chances. I'll fire you. You do not leave office because of the law. I will abolish the office. I will withhold the money. Pay yourself if you want to be there. Board, it's a very it's a quasi-judicial body. You decide over the fate of the pockets of the people. And you are there corrupt. Who now takes care of the entire nation kung ganon kayo ka-stupido. And even the director. Ang ano dyan, it's directors actually and down. It's good in implementation. I think that all presidents meant well, but along the way. So, I am trying to address my fellow men and to the investors. Do not pay. You do not have the obligation to give money corruption, to promote. All you have to be is to assertive. Pag may maghingi, basta kanino, kima customs, kima BIR, all you have to say is, look guy, if you want money, I'll give it to Duterte, you get the money. I'll double the amount. Or at the first instance, you slap him. Create a scene. Ano sabihin, may airport, nung dadating yung mga kamag-anak nila. I have observed that when we go abroad, Hong Kong, vacation time, we pass customs and immigration. We don't even have to go in front of the box. Nobody asks us. Here comes a congressman, a governor, and even though I brought in 10 luggages for only 2 days in Hong Kong, nobody stops me. But the OFW, yung kalit-lit, buksan tapos, if there are 2 or 3 perfumes there, kunin ng isa. They're just picking things that they want. Stealing people, harap-harapan yung nakawan. It's actually nakaw. So do not go for it. I've told the immigration, do not open the luggages. Total dadaan ng ano yan ng X-ray. The arriving cargos, you just don't know it. There's an X-ray there. Down. And you can always, if there is no contraband or prohibitive item, they're not supposed to open them up. So, the airport now is quite, not really, but comfortable. If somebody touches your things there inside, you slap him. Totoo, make a scene, estilo ba, scene to will attract attention. And so there are a lot of media people there around. And you would pick that story. And I would know. Or that 8888, right after the news on the government station PTV4, there's one out there where you can text. Name the person. Director, tapos, he's milking me. And I will call the director. And I guarantee you, if you want dissatisfaction, I'll call you. It's either I kick him or slap him in front of you. That is how it should be. Until such time that the deadly strain of corruption, or if you do not want, then at least stop for 6 years. Until then, there will be no corruption in government. Itong mga directors, December, I released 1 billion for people all around the country carrying yung resita prescription walang mabili. No money. I told Judy Tigualo to give it right away because it's Christmas time. Dito sa, I'm still trying to, in one region, itong putang inang director na to was absent for, if I pay you, how many? 300, you work for it. You stay in the office. Because if you shortchange the person, the public, the transacting public, ang bayad sa iyo, for 300, work for 8 hours. Then after the lunch time, you go out, you do not come back anymore. This, you directors, I am covered national. Stop it. You are not the privileged. You should not be privileged. You eat your lunch in your office and be there when the papers are signed. For each department, matagal na, energy defensor, I place 1 month. 1 month they have to release the paper, whether it is approved or not. The director shall only have 15 days. The local government should only have 3 days. In Davao, which were only 3 days. I'm not trying to pull my own chair, but look at the bow. But initially, nasasampal ko na. But when I said, I'll kick you, I'll kick you. I will go to your office and in front of your office, I will kick you. I do not want to do it, but if you press mo, I will. Praktisado ako niyan. So, you know, those papers there, they must be out from your office, the director, whoever you are, 15 days. And I would like to urge every citizen of this country, text mo kagad. Putang inang director nito, mayor, wala dito kang tapos 2 linggo na do not kayong nasa gobyerno, it's time to have a respite from corruption. I said I'm not pretending to be the cleanest Philippine. I had my faults, but you know, this is my last for. I'm 72 years old. A lot of the media speculating, well, I have cancer in the liver, pancreas. You know, I'm 72. How old is your father? How many tablets does he swallow every night? If he's 72 like me, pareho kami naglalaklak ng rugat. Sakit sa lahat na. Hypertension, mine is Barrett, then I acquired Berger's disease because of the smoke. I ended up no smoking. The doctor said you cannot smoke anymore. So I told about 80 people, we should not smoke anymore. Langan. Akala ko ba you want a country of equality? If I cannot smoke, why should you? So I'd like to congratulate Sarangani Power. You know, the Alcantara family came here many years ago, and my father too. We were just migrants, but they were already not trying to offend you, but well off. That they started with business right away. Kami my mother is a Mindanaoan. It took us another alley to history, and I've been mayor of Davao City for 23 years. I never lost the election since 1988. Tuloy-tuloy na hanggang na-presidente ako. And just for your curiosity, if you ask me if I am exceedingly happy to be president, I'll tell you this. I do not need it at this time of my life. All the applauses and praises and adulation. For 40 years being a politician, including me being a congressman and the vice mayor to me, I've had enough of it. It does not ring a bell. All I am doing now is just work, and work. The salary of the president is 130,000. This you know, good as your time. Please forgive me. I will just utilize the time. Kayong nasa government corporations and SSS, and you award yourselves with liberally with the money of the people. I have issued an order. You go down as down. There will be no more increases of your salary, your emoluments without my approval. I will bring you to my level. So I go home. I do not sleep in the palace. I do not like the word palace. It's just the office and residence. I live across the river. I ride the pambot. sometimes it runs out of fuel. Well, that is how it is. What I'm saying is, I'm happy that the investors heard. I would like to welcome you. I apologize for the death of your compatriot. We are very sorry that it had to happen, but I can assure you, those responsible are known to us already, and they will have to go to prison. And I will see to it that they are sentenced to the maximum. There is no death penalty because if there is, they suspect it because of church and all of the pressures of the libertarians. I'm asking for its restoration. They said that, Duterte is asking for a death penalty. It was there many years, many presidents ago. But what happened? One or two was... What would be the difference if we give it to you now? Me, you give the power back to me again. I'll execute them, make them curtains. I'll hang them in one day, 20 of them, 20 a day. And if you need an additional fuel, I'd gladly send you the cadavers to fuel the burners. That's because nobody said. Why is it there are so many deaths? Well, the politicians before used to strap around with 5 army men, 5 policemen, all armed. So at that time, and politics was the rule of the day. If it doesn't like the army colonel or the regional commander, whoever, they will just call the president. And it's all politics. And the politics should call Ginaldo and say, take him out because, my leaders are complaining. Nobody does it. In the first place, I never had any political machinery. I didn't have the money. So I owe nobody nothing. So yung the politicians, stay there. And I know how they operate. I've been mayor. Start to organize your law and order fund. Because if your LG, your municipality or city is in turmoil with so much drugs, I would assume that you pocketed your intelligence fund and for the operations of the police. So that I'll take out your supervisory over the police. I will tell the military not to obey you. And if you get to be troublesome, told the military to shoot the idiot. They used to be powerful ones. It was a politics. Kaya ang maki 40% of the barangay captains of our country. Little 4 or 5 years ago. Right. A lot of policemen there. 6,000 of them. You know a visual thing about the drug industry? Bigay mo sa akin yung, where's my aid? You really want to know the enormity of my problem? Kaya I was talking to God again. Sabi kasi nila, I talk to God. Si Duterte is, this is the drug industry. Almost all of the barangay captains. These are names. Yung pare na, may pare ito. Bigay mo sa kanya. Solve the problem. municipal mayors, everybody, every government, foreigners, locals, barangay. Kaya yung USA, sige sila, I won't mention that. You want to know my problem? You're criticizing me. No. I'll give you that list. So loyal. Then help us. I didn't buy, so that all the foreigners also understand. Which is more evil? Which is the evil one? The drug lords who are cooking shabu and feeding it to my countrymen and our children, or it's the police in some operations killing. Extrajudicial killing. I have lost 32 policemen today. I have lost 19 of my soldiers. Just making an entry into the shabu laboratories everywhere. When I was mayor in Davao City, look at Davao City. You can walk around every night. Why? Because there's nobody there to molest you, to disturb you. Or look at in other places. But Manila is relatively safe. It will become safe. It will become safe. Take me about 3 years if I get to live that time. 3 years medyo wala na talaga. But for as long as the drug is there, you know, they say that they lament about a child being hit by a bullet in a gun battle between the, you know, as a lawyer, I would just like to lecture everybody in the Philippines listening. If there is an encounter, policeman is performing illegal duty. A criminal, they're shooting the police or shooting each other. And if the police, it's a stressful one, maybe could unlock, the locking mechanism is just one direction. If he happens to lock it in the under stress, and he puts it in full auto, and he kills 1,000 Filipinos there. What's our liability? Civil. We only pay. We do not incur any criminal liability. Because this police is working in the performance duty. He could not possibly control the bullets coming out from the barrel of a gun. That's it. But the criminal who fights the police committing a crime, and he does the same thing, or throws a grenade and kills her, he is responsible for the death of the policeman and all others. Why? Because he was committing a crime. Now, there's so much binabatikos na they're crucifying the police. You put yourself in a gun battle and let us see what happens. It's a running gun battle. Really, the military calls it collateral damage. Well, I'm sorry. We're ready to pay. But for as long as drugs, the drug lords, and the pushers are there, we will destroy them. I ordered the military to destroy them. I did not order the military and the police to conduct a police operation. That's nonsense. Go after them, go against the apparatus, and kill them. So I take full legal responsibility for my order. The military and police can just be rest assured that I will protect. Ako yung magbigay. Why? Because I have to protect my country. Why? Because there are now 4 million addicts. Why? Because you are reducing my country into a slave state. Why? Might be better to have markets of Africa and the Middle East. You can still utilize his talent. But if you make a slave of a Filipino, a criminal, and to fatten your pocket, my God, I will kill you. Telling you now. There's no other way. Oh, the poor are the ones, of course. Because they are one who have to make up the living. If there is no shabu here, and nobody brings it there, then we are safe. Oh, there are so many poor without tour because there is no more supply, then we are relatively safe. But for as long as the drug lords are there, and even we say, oh, the poor are the ones, you know the world will never stop turning every 24 hours. It will not stop to listen to your story. We committed this crime because, my mother is just a prostitute. She earns money by selling her body. My father is a holdupper. I will not listen to that story. Because I have to preserve my country. Hindi kita pwedeng pakinggan. Alam mo, you know very well that you tread into dangerous ground. I have been warning all of you, especially mayors. I called you to Malacanang a week ago. I told you, do not do it. You will die. Captains, you will die. What makes it more odious is that you are in government. Why? Because I said, I have to preserve my country. The loose talks about martial law. If I declare martial law, I will not say anything. I'll just declare martial law. Oh, yes, shut up. You just behave. It's not. I want to predicate myself. Sus Maria Joseph. I do at this time of my life. I'm ready to go anytime. You want to impeach? Go ahead, be my guest. I'll be taking off shortly. Just make sure that you hit the pilot. Never mind about us because we will go down with him. Ganon lang yan. It's scary about impeachment, kudita. God says you will be president of the Philippines. Good only for 7 months, maybe from you will never make it back to your home. Fine. So we had at least you have heard me, and that is my legacy to you. And when your children says what happened at this time of our history, just tell them the truth, that this is how it developed. I am even the military and the police. I back them up and said, do not nurture or propagate personal loyalty. You remain loyal to the flag, to the people and to the Constitution. Me, I am just a worker of government. You have never heard me call myself president. We, the military and the police and all of these guys, we are all workers of government. And so I'd like to again congratulate Sarangani Power and all the investors, Toyota and good friends. I said I'm very sorry for that sordid incident, and but I can assure you, I will see to it. Better if they escape from prison. I'll send their heads to your... This, ina kayong mga police, bantay, di ko kayo papalusutin. You will suffer. You will suffer. Make the gods. Then I can maybe send your head to South Korea. So, I'm just, I become emotional. But it's only a pretended one. For effects lang yan. The nation that, oh, he was announced, he was killing. Istorya lang yan. Wala. Iba may ang totoo, iba may ang istorya. But be careful because sometimes it merges. People of Sarangani for keeping your, watching the view. It's still pristine. And if you can develop your beautiful country in a very systematic way, I'm sure the power plant will I'd like to say thank you very much for your trust in us. Do not just report to me. I have an open line. Do not entertain. And the first whiff of corruption. The first whiff of corruption. Even if it is not true. Go. Because I would be eternally doubting whether you are really at it or not. So why would I punish myself under stress by thinking about you? Who are you to be? So, salamat po lahat sa inyo lahat. And mabuhay ang Sarangani. Good.
Thank you, Mr. President. May we now request the President for a photo opportunity in 5 batches. We call on first the